Good afternoon, Paterson. This is L.Teague, and we're here with Commissioner Dr. Jonathon Hodges, who has been a long-standing advocate for the children of the city of Paterson. As you know, there is an election coming up this year in November, and Dr. Hodges is up for re-election, so I wanted to bring him on today so that he could share with you some of his thoughts as to what's going on in our city right now. And well, first, Dr. Hodges, introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Jonathon Hodges, long-standing member of the Board of Education. I guess I'm the longest right now.
Yeah,
18 years on the Board of Education. Welcome to the conversation.
Right, now, I guess we could jump right into it. The issue with the schools, because you know it's become a very hot topic, the reopening or the closing, or virtual, I should say. I don't want to say closing because I know there's some misconceptions that schools are closed. They're not. The buildings are closed, but class is still in session right now. What are your thoughts on being a board member at such a unprecedented time?
Well, I'm a physician, and this is really concerning to me. I understand a little better than the normal person what the indications are, what this really means to the population. I'm very concerned about the pandemic that we're facing and the impact on our community. We have a lot of people here who don't wear masks, are not social distancing, or having backyard parties during the summer, traveling to states that have a higher infection rate, and we already have a high infection rate in this city, one of the highest in the states. Consequently, it was important that the district decided to go to virtual learning as opposed to going to in-class learning, because we just could not predict that we would keep our children safe.
Right.
And so when the plan came up to be reviewed, the reopening plan for schools, I voted no because of that concern.
Now, in going into the 2021 school year, what is some of your vision? Like, how do you really see the district doing in terms of academic, in terms of progress academically with this new norm?
Yeah, well, a big problem with virtual learning is it's not as strong as in-class learning, and that's going to be a real problem. Right now, we all, in addition to that fact, we don't have the computers for everybody yet. I know that we're working very hard to bring them in, but there's been a delay until October, possibly October, for the balance of the computers to arrive. So you're going to have a two-tiered approach to learning. You're going to have people with packets again, and you're going to have the rest of the students who will be learning virtually. And that's going to be a problem, because at some point, those students are going to have to catch up with the others.
Right.
So academically, we're going to be challenged. Financially, we're already in a state where we have been facing challenges. We're forced to have, we didn't have that many layoffs. However, there are already over 300 classes that have more than 30 students in them. So that in itself is a challenge to promoting increased or improvement academically.
Right.
We've had to cut out music and art again because of the funding. We had a $63 million shortfall in our funding from the state, illegally underfunding, I might add.
Yes.
In addition to that, they came back because of the COVID virus and took another $16 million off the top after we passed the budget.
Right.
So there are programs that we're not going to be able to move forward with. And now, because of the COVID virus, we're going to have to devote other resources to the building and cleaning and training of our teachers that we just don't have the money for.
Wow. So in terms of the leadership of the board, now people like myself, I already know, but for those who may not know, explain to them why it's important to have independent voices on the school board, especially right now.
Well, you know, it's a very difficult thing to face these kind of challenges when somebody else is pulling the strings. and being able to say, hey, listen, we need to do these things even though it may not be in the best interest of other people. For instance, I'm concerned about the sports program. Should we have sports when our children may be exposed to the virus because of their interactions, not just with each other, but when they go home, and in the community, what's going on there, that may put our children in danger. But there are a lot of people who are totally against that, and who can, if you're connected to them, makes it hard to make those very difficult decisions. That's just an indication. There are other indications too, where contracts get voted on that perhaps wouldn't if the people were totally independent. So I think independence gives you a stronger voice. You can protect the interests of the public better, and I've been independent since I got on this board.
Sure did.
There's no question about that.
Day one.
And I would think that we'd be much further along if the board from the beginning had maintained its independence.
And I wanted to reiterate from before, he's an actual medical doctor. So when he speaks about what he spoke about, like tracing the actual, because this is the perplexity of it. You may contract it from someone you didn't even know you got it from, and spread it around and don't even realize. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right, because you could be asymptomatic and still have the virus.
Right.
And they just announced last night that the younger kids may have a higher a load of the virus, but even though that they're asymptomatic, because they don't have the internal, the sites that the virus acts on in the body, they have fewer of them. So therefore, the infections won't be as severe. However, their transmission of it can be just as much as anybody else. That's recent data that was released last night. So having our students and our young children in school can cause the infection to spread if someone asymptomatic is in school with them. That's a concern.
Absolutely. So some of the things that you've done, I don't want to put it that way, but no, I'll just say it. Sometimes you may ask some candidates what have they done so far, and they can't tell you a thing. They just say they love kids. You have a laundry list of stuff you've done. Can you maybe give them some so they know that it's not the usual spill? That Dr. Hodges, you'll hear it. You can give them a little about what you've done on the board.
Well, we were of the 4 takeover districts, we were the only ones that would not let the state call ourselves a takeover district. We did things that the other districts did not do, and I champion many of those things. We were doing things in terms of voting on fiscal. We picked our own superintendent. We took charge of the process. The big problem was, and continues to be, the funding. And I've gone down to Trenton, and I have fought many times for funding. The Supreme Court said that we were supposed to have money enough money to provide a thorough and efficient education for our children, and the state has resisted that repeatedly. And I've had to go down to Trenton. I've marched with down State Street in protesting the lack of funding. I've done a lot of things in terms of testifying before the Senate and the Assembly. early on. We have changed our focus in terms of the curriculum. I have tried to emphasize making a stronger student. So I brought note-taking to the district. I brought student studying skills to the district. I championed cursive writing instruction for the students. I have pushed having computer languages in the district. I have pushed better performance on our science tests in the district. I pushed for an increase, which hasn't really happened fully yet, of the passing grade standard. It was currently 60, when it went to 63, that's where it is. We want to get it up to 65 to 70, where it should be in terms of passing grade. So there have been other programs that I've pushed. We had until the epidemic, we had a program where we had students go to FDU, and on Saturday, every Saturday, on the pre-engineering program, which exposed our students to engineering on the college campus for 13 weeks.
Which you brought up the other night at the meeting.
Yes, yes. And, which was a tremendous opportunity for our students to get exposed to engineering. No cost to the students. We pay for the transportation, and the college would feed them all day, plus teach them. So it's things like that that have been key to helping improve the educational outcome of our students. That's what I've been working on.
Excellent. So the last thing, let's just say election day was tomorrow and you had to give a word to the undecideds. You know what I mean? 'Cause I know mostly everybody knows Dr. Hodges, but there's a few folks out there who may not kind of know, and you just want to give them a last kind of punch. If, let's say election day was tomorrow, what would you tell them?
You know, I would say to you that this is a process, and that struggle is not over yet. We've got a long way to go. I want to have that voice, that independent voice, that strident voice on curriculum and instruction that I've maintained all this time to move this district forward. We started out without local control. We're on the brink of local control now. One of the things I've worked for the longest time. Educational excellence is what I'm pushing for. It remains to be accomplished. That's what I want to work on. That's what I'm primarily interested in, the best well-being of our students. We've got a long way to go. Work with me as we move forward to get that goal accomplished.
All right, sounds good. So this is Dr. Hodges again. Once we get the ballot position, then we'll make sure we have that information for you. But it was, you had it.
Number one on the ballot.
See, I was waiting to see.
Number one on the ballot.
Number one, for good reason.
All right.
As he should be.
Number one.
That's right, number one advocate.
Election day.
Oh yes.
November 3rd.
November 3rd, Tuesday.
November 3rd.
And it's vote by mail
Number
only.
one, vote by mail.
Do you know when I think the last day to register to vote is October 30th. Is it October 30th?
You know, I don't know that.
I have to find the last day but make sure if you're not registered to vote, please vote. And please register to vote. I believe it's in October. I'm going to get the date and post it. But it was a good conversation with Dr. Hodges. Glad to have him. We need to keep him on the board. All right, that's why we did this today. We're going to do several more as the days go by, because we really need to keep that voice on the Paterson School Board. All right, have a good one, and we'll see you.
Thank you.